First is total utility. Okay. Take the definition. It is the total satisfaction derived. It is the total satisfaction derived from consuming some quantity of commodity. Consuming some quantity of commodity. It is the total satisfaction derived from consuming some quantity of commodity. Second one is marginal utility. I've said whenever the word marginal comes, what does it mean? Addition, extra addition. Okay. So it means change in total utility due to consumption of one additional unit of commodity. Change in total utility due to consumption of one additional unit of commodity. Next is law of diminishing marginal utility. It states that marginal utility from consuming each additional unit of commodity declines as its consumption increases. Write it. It states that marginal utility from consuming each additional unit of commodity declines as its consumption increases. While keeping consumption of other commodities constant. We are consuming only one commodity here. So it means we are consuming each additional commodity when we consumes, there's a decline in the consumption. Diminishing mu, that is like it can also go negative. So think we have 10 units first. The mu is the change, right, of additional. So there is 0. Again we have 2, the change is 2. So this can go to minus also, like this. Okay. That means, for an example, if you're eating some food, starting you have utility of that roti, right? If you are eating a pizza, first piece of that pizza will have 100% of utility. You are hungry, but at one point you'll be full. Can you eat one more pizza after that? That is this thing, law of diminishing marginal utility. After one point it will go negative. That pizza has no utility after that because you are full. Can you eat more after one point? If I have a capacity to eat 3 rotis, that's all I can eat. If I want to have 4 or 5th, I cannot, right? That is law of diminishing marginal utility. It is diminishing, and after one point it can even become negative. Just right, marginal utility can even become negative. Example, just remember by food. At one point, the utility of one pizza is very important, but after some time, once you are eaten and you're full, that utility becomes 0, and it can even go to minus if you puke, if you vomit. That is minus only, right? Okay. Next, we'll move into demand and supply. This is important for understanding. They will never ask a question. What do you mean by demand? Like, what is the definition, basic definition? There is a demand for government job. What does that mean? Yes, right. Many people are looking forward for government job. That it means, right, in normal language. So what is the definition? Quantity of items a person is willing to buy and can afford it is called demand. He's willing to buy. I need 10 cars, but I should afford it also. I'm willing to buy, but I should be able to afford that 10 cars. So that is the definition. Quantity of items a person is willing to buy and consume and can afford it is called demand. This is the definition. So let's see with respect to price, how does this two behave? If think for 1,000 rupees you could buy one book. Now the price has increased to 2,000. What will happen? The demand. Demand will decrease. And what about the supply? It increases. It's ulta. Okay. If the same 1,000 rupees book you're getting at 500 rupees now, what will happen to demand? Demand increases because you're getting it for cheaper price. What about supply? Decreases because people are buying it. There's less supply. So this you remember. If the price increases, then demand decreases. Okay, and vice versa. But there is one terms and condition, provided income and preferences remain unchanged. So we are looking into a closed circuit, not an open one. Closed means we are just considering one factor. That's all. We are not considering every factor of our life. Only one factor, that we are here to buy that book. So when the price was one, same. But when it doubled, demand decreased. Nobody wants to buy that book now. But supply will be increasing. They'll be pushing in like, okay, buy some more, but nobody will buy. When the price becomes half, demand will increase. Day-to-day life, we see that, right? When there is a bumper offer on Amazon, some festival fair, like, offer, we go buy more. So that's economics, what they use, that policy, what the business, it's a business policy. You just give offer, people will come and buy. Everyone likes free item, I think. If we say like pay 200 rupees, no. 50 rupees, yes, give me. That's a business model they use. 50 rupees also important for that company. It works on this. Okay. Next is demand curve. You understood this, right? This is basic. We're drawing a demand curve. How does it behave normally? We're taking quantity here and price. Right, yeah, exactly. One quantity, if you're getting it for 500, so this is the demand. The demand is increasing. Now we want two quantity. How the demand would increase? There's an inverse, like with price, we saw, right? The price decreases, the demand increases. If the price decreases, there'll be more demand. So I can buy two quantity. For 500, if the price was for 500 rupees, I can buy one quantity. If the price decreases by 200 rupees more, I can buy two quantities now, right? It's simple. Similarly, if the price decreases to 200, I can buy 3 quantity. And same way, if the price decreases to 100 now, I can buy 4 quantity. Because I am spending the same amount. I had 500 with me. Either I buy one item of 500 or buy 4 items of 100 rupees. I have 500 rupees only with me. So what is this slope? Downward. Negative slope. This demand curve. Just remember that one, the price and demand ratio, like what is the relation between price and demand and supply. That is more important. This and all is not important at all. Next topic is elasticity. Take the definition. A change in one variable due to change in another variable. Simple, like the price and demand. If the price increases, what happens? Demand decreases. Next, price elasticity of demand. It measures the change in demand for an item in relation to its price. Like example, during COVID time, the demand for N95 mask, it increased, right? All of a sudden. And what happened then if the demand increases? Price. But that time what they did? They increased the price. So the government had to step in. And they said they controlled it. It's like, no, you can't do this. Okay? So the formula for this is, you don't have to remember, just write it. Okay? Percentage change in demand by percentage change in price. So this is the formula for price elasticity of demand. Okay? They will not ask you. Don't break your head. Time and again I'm telling you. Microeconomics, it's not at all important. Only we need to understand the terminology. This is why we are reading this. Tomorrow's class, macroeconomics, it is very important. That is the base for your UPSC. Okay? So in this we have 3 types of demand what we are reading. First one is perfectly inelastic demand. Write it. When there is a change in price, but there is no change in the demand at all. It is inelastic. There's nothing. Inelastic means it's not extending. Elasticity, you mean, understand, right? So if the price changes, but there is no change in the quantity of demand at all, let the price vary, but the quantity of demand would be same. That is called perfectly inelastic demand. Okay? For example, like milk, you take it daily consumables. Price increase or decrease, we'll take it. We'll go buy it. Be it 5 rupees, 20 rupees, 50 rupees, we'll buy it. It is required every day. Okay? Next is perfectly elastic demand. This is like elastic, perfectly elastic. The word itself says that it's very elastic. So when slight change in price, slight change in price will cause infinite change in demand. If you increase 1 rupee also, the demand will explode. Like everyone wants it. This is not possible in real life. Perfectly elastic demand, it's not possible in real life. Okay. But what is the definition? When slight change in price will cause infinite change in demand. Huh? We'll learn about it. What happens if the price of gold decreases? Yeah, so we have already learned that demand and supply, right? It's a simple thing. Because they'll know that price will increase, they'll sell it again. Next is unitary elastic demand. Where percentage change in price is equal to percentage change in demand. There's an equal change. If the price changes, demand also changes equally. Next topic is factors affecting the demand of the product. What are the factors which affect the demand of the product? First is type of item. Which type of item are we looking for? Like in Karnataka, do you say alcohol is a type of product? So for whom it's meant for the demand? All the alcoholists, morning 10 o'clock they'll be in the line. That is their duty. But for a healthy person, what is his demand? Juice corner. Or he'll go to some other shop, which that is the demand for him. Okay. Preferences, second. Third is income. It matters. This matters the most, right? Demand can be fulfilled only if you have money. Fourth is substitute item. If you're not getting that, then how you can substitute it? Like if you're not getting, if the coffee price is more, you'll go for tea. Because tea leaves are cheaper. If both are high, leave drinking only. Drink water. Relation between demand and income. Next. So this is important. What is the relationship between demand and income? Depends. Both the ways it can go. If you have more money, you can spend more. You can satisfy more demands. So that is a basic thumb rule. But before that, let's get into the types of good. This is important. All these things might be asked, and they have asked also in the exam. So there are different types of goods. How we differentiate. So one to we everyone know, public and private goods. Public goods we know. What are public goods? Roads, railways, which is like common ownership we call it. Like so Aristotle says that everyone's property is no one's property. Nobody takes the responsibility. Recently we saw that Vande Bharat, someone had thrown stones and all, right? So because nobody takes the responsibility. If it is its own home, we try to keep it clean. So that is the Aristotle. That from there the right to property came. Individual, like private property. Plato believed in communism, but Aristotle was his disciple. He believed that it's of no use because everyone's property is no one's property. Nobody will take care of that. But my property, it's my property. From that debate, the private property and ownership came. Okay, it's just a brief idea I'm giving you. Plato and Aristotle, you'll read about them. And what is private property? Your house, your car, your bike, that's private property, right? This institution. Okay. Next, no, what is the difference between normal, luxury, and inferior goods? So first was public and private. There's no need to explain. You understand that. What are normal goods? Normal goods, the demand increases with increase in income and vice versa. If demand increases with increase in income, your income increases, demand also increases. Those are normal goods. Example, gold. You buy gold if you have more money. Those are normal goods, okay? Or jeans. Well, it depends on your standard of living. Your standard of living is increasing. Earlier, you used to sleep on floor. You started earning money. You had a cot. More, I need AC. That's like demand is increasing because your standard of living is increasing. Those are normal goods. What are inferior goods? Demand decreases with increase in income level. Example, your income increases. Earlier, I used to travel in BMTC. My income was low. My demand is high for that BMTC. My income increased. Now this demand for that BMTC is decreased because my income has increased. This is called inferior goods. You tend to feel that those things are inferior. Earlier, I used to eat outside. I have money now. I go to only like posh areas, Starbucks and all. The demand for that thela wala has decreased, right? This is inferior goods. I'm feeling inferior, that thing is inferior. Okay. Third is luxury goods. Demand increases more than income. Example, luxury cars. The name says is luxury goods. A Rolex watch. Okay. Anything like which you can think, a charter plane. So demand increases more than income. So starting only we read what are the problem with the economy, that human desires are unlimited, but the resources are finite. We need to adjust. That we are doing it. Next is complementary and substitute goods. Next, Giffen. No, no, no. Giffen are normal goods. Normal, like those are not luxurious. The next one, what we'll read, Veblen, those are luxurious goods. Complementary and substitute goods. What do you mean by complementary goods? 1 plus 1, whichever comes together, like petrol and car, sugar and tea, right? Your income, so it all depends on that. If your income increases or the demand of that one product decreases, the other product also decreases. If the demand of rice or the sugar increases, the demand of tea will also increase because it's all dependent. Both are correlated. It's called complementary goods. What about substitute goods? Yeah, tea, coffee, so Pepsi, Coca-Cola, right? If one is increasing, you'll go for that. Offline, online education. Power came. Nice. Next is necessity goods. So what do you mean by necessity goods? It is necessary for your survival, basic needs. Rice, dal, yeah, drinking water, okay, electricity, necessity goods. What are comfort goods? Yeah, the name itself is McDonald. Yeah, that gives me good comfort. Or Netflix, I want to watch. So those are comfort goods. That gives you more comfort. Yeah. Next is Giffen goods. This is double F. Wait. These are goods where demand increases with increase in price. Price increases, demand also increases. Usually low price product. These are not luxurious product, low price product. Example, bread, wheat, rice. If demand increases, price will also increase. With increasing price, no matter what, price, it will match up the price. We need to have this. Bread also we need to have, rice, day-to-day survival. Okay, these are given goods where demand increases with increase in price. Price increases, demand will also increase. Otherwise, we'll starve, right? We need to have food. We'll store up things. So this is given goods. Low price products. Okay. Then there are the next one is Veblen. Here also the demand increases as the price increases. It's same like given goods only, but it's a high quality goods like status symbol, Rolex watch, right? Car, fine wine, or somebody is like we have seen celebrity endorsing some perfumes. We'll go buy that only because he's endorsing it. So Veblen goods, those are called Veblen goods. Demand increases with price increase in price. We feel right like paying extra. This is why they're charging so much, I think, extra. Like if you go to a wine shop, if they'll show you 2000 rupees, 3000, where they show you 5000, you'll feel okay, this is more good. You understood Veblen and Giffen goods? Yeah. These are for normal products, those are for luxurious products. Both the places demand will increase as the price increases. Okay. See, this is the exception. We saw the demand and price graph, right? Demand increases, price decreases. It was inversely proportional. But in this two goods, it is opposite. Graph will be this way. So these are the exceptions. Upward movement. But thumb rules is demand increases, price decreases. What are merit goods? Next is merit goods. These are the goods which adds value to the society, like pulses, millet, health, education. Then what are demerit goods? Right? These are also called sin goods. Now they have started charging, they have started considering even Coca-Cola under this. Yeah, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, all the fried items under demerit good because it gives you all the problems like obesity and later COPD, different kind of health diseases and complications that we are seeing because of all the eating all junk foods, fast foods. So they have been put under the sin tax. But basic example would be cigarette and alcohols. They are demerit goods. So what did we see about supply? If the price increases, supply, check check that thing. The basic thumb rule. If price increases, supply increases. That is the thumb rule. Okay. Because if the price increases, demand decreases. So it should be ulta. Okay. So if the price increases, supply also increases. So a basic example would be business will make more video game system if price of those system increases. Right? They'll make more if the prices are more. Next topic is factors affecting supply of a good. So which all factor? First is technology. What will happen if technology improves? Supply will decrease or increase? Increase, so it is directly proportional, increases. Next is input price. If input price increases, what will happen? Supply. It will decrease because price is increasing here, input price is increasing, the end product will be costlier. So the supply will decrease. What about taxes? So first one was technology factors. Second, input price. This is directly proportional. This is inversely proportional. This is again, if you put taxes during supply, what will happen? Any tax, do you think people will prefer? No. So the supply will decrease. Simple example would be gambling. Here the government, what they did, earlier online gambling was allowed. People were, its supply was unlimited, there are different apps. People were going and playing online because you can't go outside and play, cops will catch you. Now what they have done, they have applied for 28% GST. So what will happen now? Will people prefer to play online because 28% extra they have to pay now? They will not. So it is inversely again, right? Law of supply and demand, we have read it. If price increases, demand decreases. Supply increases. Price decreases, then demand? Demand increases, supply? Yeah. Next is price elasticity of supply. How we read elasticity of demand? It's the same thing. Elasticity of supply. Price elasticity of supply. It measures the responsiveness of quantity supplied to changes in the price of good. It measures the responsiveness of quantity supplied to changes in the price of goods. What would be the formula? Same. What was there in the demand? Yeah. Percentage change in quantity supplied by percentage change in price. So again, the same thing will find inelastic supply, elastic supply, unitary elastic supply. So what is inelastic supply? Change in price does not change the quantity supplied in the market. Same thing, price, if it differentiates, if it increases, decreases, it doesn't matter. It will not affect the supply at all. It is called inelastic supply. What would be the example? Salt, water, etc. It doesn't affect it much. Salt, how much they can increase? 1 rupee, 2 rupee, because it's available, like plenty of it, it's available around us. Next is unitary elastic supply. Change in price is proportional to the change in supply. These are the examples are consumer durables. Next, perfectly elastic supply. What does this mean? The same what we seen in demand. Slight change in the price, there will be infinite change in the quantity supplied. Infinite change. That means perfectly elastic. It is very elastic. Okay. Slight change in price will lead to infinite change in quantity supplied. Okay. So here your microeconomic gets over. It's done. Tomorrow, it's very important, macro. That is where we'll be talking in detail. This was, you understood it, whatever it is, whatever I have given you notes, just read it once. No need to understand. But remember two, three things. The consumption, investment, and production, what it is, why it is required. And then opportunity cost, then supply and demand with respect to price, how it increases and decreases. This will help you to understand other concepts also. When we loan, when we lend people money, that concept will be used. If money is more, what happens? Money is less, what happens? What government does when there's a lot of money in the market? It takes out the money. Because if there's more money, it will lead to inflation. Everybody has money to pay. You have your, so if this item can be bought for 100 rupees, since everyone has money, the item price will increase to 200 rupees now. Because everybody is willing to pay. This is what it's happening in BTM layout also. One day I went out to search home for myself. Single room they're saying 10,000. I was like, why? That supply and demand chain, there's such a demand there that the price is shooting up. Everyone wants a piece of this place. So this we'll understand in macroeconomics more how government of India and RBI manages everything. It is very important for deflation, inflation, and how we manage our targets. There's FRBM Act we'll be reading about. Okay. Do you want to ask me anything? Any doubts? See, today's class gets over here only. If you have anything, any doubts? Are you able to understand? Thoda. You're able to understand now? Okay. It's a basic thing what we do every day. We try to save money, make money. This economy, you take it at a higher level, at a national level or international level. How dollar is affecting us, everything we'll read in macro, like how internationally people are acting, why it is important, what WTO is doing. Okay, there's a system called SWIFT, how that is affecting, how do we transact money online. We'll read that tomorrow. Okay, this was at the individual level. Clear? You understanding? No? Okay. Okay. Class gets over here only then. And meanwhile, do you want to hear out some news? Huh? We have time. Let's do newspaper. If you want to go, you can leave. Yeah, the class gets over. Let's read yesterday's news. Anyone else wants to go? Okay. See, there was a news yesterday on GM crops. Yeah, listen to me, yes. Mustard, yeah. So GM crop will make edible oil cheaper. So this was the news. Why this was the news? And this question has been asked in UPSC also. We import more than 50% of edible oil. So we are the importers. So this GM crop will help us to curb our import value. So let's read this. In submission before Supreme Court, Center says GM oil has been used in India for decades now. So we have been using this genetically modified oil. What is genetically modified? We're tweaking the genes. We're adding some genes which makes it resistant to a lot of pesticides or herbs, or herbicides, weeds, or insects, and it can grow and the productivity increases. The efficiency of that product is more. That is called genetically modified crops. So, in submission before Supreme Court, Center says GM oil has been used in India for decades now, and growing oil seeds indigenously will help reduce prices. The price of one oil, I think 1 liter oil is around 100, I think now, right? more than 100 edible oil, 110. Petitioner submits that regulatory system under genetic engineering appraisal committee is riddled with conflict of interest. So this is the committee which looks into genetic engineering crops. Genetic engineering appraisal committee. This gives the approval that we can use it for human purpose on a mass production. It's GEAC. Let's read the news. The Supreme Court on Thursday said it only wanted what was good for India, even as the government argued that growing genetically modified crops such as mustard would make quality edible oil cheaper for the common man and benefit the national interest by reducing foreign dependence. Okay? Mustard oil is the most used edible oil. GM oil has been used in India for decades now. What we are trying to do is making edible oil cheaper for the common man by growing oil seeds indigenously. 50 to 60% of edible oil is imported. So this first you need to remember is edible, imported. I think this was asked in 2020 UPSC regarding this import and export data. Interests which are against India gaining food security and reducing foreign dependence are behind the PIL. What is foreign dependence like? What happens if we are buying from foreign? Import and export, I was explaining with China we have a deficit, right? Balance of payment crisis will read tomorrow. So what happens if we are buying from outside? So we have to pay them in dollars. And we all have to maintain a reserve of dollars because that is the main currency of world right now. If we are buying something, we'll pay in dollars. If they are taking something from us, they'll pay in dollars. Dollars is the currency right now, okay? Increasing demand. Directorate of Economy, Welfare Department, there's a person. To prove an increasing demand of edible oil with the burgeoning population, the government said the total edible oil demand of India was 24 million tons, with domestic availability of 11 tons. Demand of oil is 24 million tons. And what is the supply? Domestic supply. So we have read this, right? Demand and supply today. So domestic supply is only 11 million tons. What about the remaining 13? And that is the majority. Not even like we are importing 30 or 10%. More than 50-60%. So if supply is less, what is the relation? Price and supply. Supply increase. Now what is the like demand is more, supply is less. Price will increase, right? The government, in 2020-21, 13 million tons of the total edible oil demand was met through import. 50%, 54% was met through import, which costed 1,15,000 crore. See the price amount. For 1 year, India spent 1,15,000 crore to import oil, edible oil, 54% of it, which included palm oil. So this they have asked. Most what we import is palm oil, 57%. Remember this, write it if you want to, because in paper 3 you have to mention all these things if there's a question on this. Soybean oil 22%, sunflower oil 15%, and small quantity of canola quality mustard oil. In 2022, 56% of the total edible oil was met through import. 54, 56, it's increasing only. So we are eating more fried items, right? Justice asked, like that means we are like more like this McD's French fries. Petitioner had highlighted environmental damage alleged caused by open field testing of GM crops. All these things, since we have this supply mismatch, right? So what we want is to grow more GM crops. Why GM crops? Because it is first of all resistance to a lot of things and more efficient. But on the same time, it has a drawback also. This drawback is the cause of concern. What is the drawback? Let's see. From the environment side, and it can even cause, there are many problems with GM crops. Okay, has highlighted the environmental damage allegedly caused by open field testing of GM crops. The court had to consider the government's duty to take care of the people's right to food, but government also has a duty to fulfill everyone's right to food. Edible oil is a daily food commodity used in the country. The PIL petitioners are depending on some half-baked study done 14 years ago to raise concerns about environmental damage. The court said the court should look at the fundamental rights of people to access basic food consumed every day at a cheaper price. That is the concern of humans, like Indian citizen. We need to provide them food which is affordable. He said the open field testing of GM crops were allotted on 8 sites of, leave this, the petitioner Gene Campaign and activist Aruna Rodriguez have challenged the government move to commercially release Dhara mustard hybrid 11, a genetically engineered variety of mustard. So this is the one which the government is releasing now. Huh? But not yet. For the commercial purpose, no. Only one thing is allowed in India for commercial purposes, cotton. Yeah. But DMH11 shows increased yield per hectare of 25 to 30%. If we use this mustard, there will be an increase in yield by 30%. So this is why government wants to use this. But the environment activists, they're saying that it will be a problem to the environment. There are many problems. Like, we'll read here. There are like lifestyle also. It can also, change our genetics also. Since we have added something, it's a human induced. It's not natural. And pollination, cross pollination, that will affect. It's all natural on environment, right? If there is something very superior, he'll only survive. What about the rest then? So that will affect the other varieties of mustard. So we'll read that there are more than 5,000 varieties of mustard in India that might get affected by this one quality. In India, annual economic loss of crops due to weed is $11 billion, 1 lakh crore. Weed, which grows, which are waste, right? Because of that, the annual, with the exchequer, what we lose is 1 lakh crore. We could have had that much more crops, but we are losing it. Annual value of herbicide currently used in India is 4,500 crore. To control that weed, we use herbicides. So how much do we use? 4,500 crore amount. Conflict of interest. Advocate Prashant Bhushan had submitted that a regulatory system under GEAC, which cleared the environmental release of DMH11. It has been cleared. Environment clearance, they have got it, but not for the commercial purpose. Still now there is a debate. Should we use it or not for commercial purpose? Was horrendous and riddled with conflict of interest. He said that India hosts 5,477 varieties of mustard, which would be at risk by GM variety. So more than 5,000 varieties we already have. If we introduce this, survival of the fittest, the theory, Darwin's, he'll only win. So what about the other 5,000? Those are at risk. Mehta said, India imported about 55,000 tons of canola oil, largely from GM canola seeds. Similarly, nearly 2.8 lakh tons of soybean oil is imported annually. Most exporting countries. So which are the exporting countries here? Argentina, USA, Brazil, and Canada cultivates GM soybean. They're already using it. We are like Indian government, we are not able to comprehend that thing. Most exporting countries: Argentina, US, Brazil, Canada. So these are the exporting countries of soybean. Globally, around 80% of soybean growing is GM soybean. So globally, also 80% is we are using genetically modified. So this is the debate, like should we use this or not? But this information we need to have it. What is the right now, how much we are paying? We are exporting more than 50-60%, like importing oil, edible oil. We're importing fuel also, fertilizers also, food also. So this becomes important for paper 3. This was a paper 3 news, okay? We have read about Niti Aayog today. So there was a report, Niti Aayog report on poverty is not reliable, Congress says. So what was the report name is multidimensional poverty in India. That was the report. And one more report I had written. What was that? I wrote one more report. What was the name of that report? Huh? I wrote something right? No, no. Niti Aayog releases report. I had given one example of the report. Water, composite water report. And this is the second report, multidimensional poverty report. Okay. It shows that 50% of the Indian people have come out of extreme poverty. That was the report. Within 15 years. There's one more news. We have read about Finance Commission. What was the article? What was the article for Finance Commission? You're not revising, huh? 280. So how much was the share? Correct. 41%. There's a demand from the central government that it should be reduced to 33%. Yeah. And think about the local government then. From where they'll get money. India and Maldives, they're hoping to, resolve the issue now. There's something called, just write this. You need to mention whenever there's a tie, if there's a question between any country, what India is doing. If you don't understand anything, write this word. HICDP. High impact community development projects. We are doing this with all the countries, neighboring countries. These are infrastructure projects basically. There's a news, coaching center cannot enroll students below 16 years of age. So that's a law, like it has been passed by the Ministry of Education now. No one is 16 right here? Okay. Then one news was the ties between UK and India. So we have aircraft carrier, What does aircraft carrier means? Aircraft carrier, you have seen big ships. You have seen in some ad and all from that aircraft or jet fighter will flow. It will be on the ship only. Those are aircraft carriers. Those are very big ships. So there are different types of ships. They're propelled. How do they propel? What is the fuel used? One is diesel, electrical. Third is nuclear powered. Nuclear powered is the most advanced technology. US has it, China has it. India, I don't know we have or not. Aditya, there is a Vikram Aditya which we have bought it from Russia. So I don't know if it is nuclear propelled or not. But we have a Chakra submarine which is nuclear propelled. That is also again leased from Russia. We don't have our own. So we are developing the technology. So this article is about India and UK ties, and we are want to buy this electrical engines for our aircraft carriers, because China also developing it. And I have told you in India, if this is the map. This whole area becomes important for India. I showed you the sea lanes, right? Communication lanes, sea communication. So what was the word I used for that? And what does India do? What is the function of India in that? Net security provider. So for that we need this electrical one. But in future we might be needing nuclear propelled one. Those are it can go on for years. Okay? US has, China has it. Next. There's a war going on between Pakistan and Iran also now. Not a war, it's an attack on each other's territory, saying that they are, there's a group. What is the group name? Militant group. Yeah, so they are pro Balochistan is a region in Pakistan which is asking for independence. They want to, separate from Pakistan. So there is a group called Al. What was that, man? It's not mentioned here. Okay, but the what we need to understand is there's a port called Chahabar Port. If we go from here this way, and there's Iran here, Pakistan here. This is Gwadar, which is developed by China and Pak. This is Chahabar, and then we will have this. I think the map goes like this. This is Red Sea. This is Gulf of Aden, and the Iran part. Okay, and this how does it go? This is this is Africa. So before this we have this two zone, right? Chahabar is here. This we were developing it. India has a stake in this Chahabar port because that gives direct connectivity to Afghanistan. Pakistan is not allowing us to go to Afghanistan, so we use this port. So this is why we were developing this, and but there again China has developed it. China has a large stake in Iran now. So now they have carried on attack from this Chahabar port. So again this becomes very important for us. So just remember Chahabar port, where it is? Iran. This is in Pakistan. Gwadar is in Pakistan, okay? Chahabar, Iran. Okay, done. Yesterday's news also done, okay? You are able to understand something? Huh? Slowly, slowly. Okay. It will take time, but yes. And please do read the syllabus. Okay. You can discuss.